Sarah, today we are dismantling the old world. We're looking at Timothy Ferriss's The 4-Hour Workweek, a book that isn't just a guide, it's a firmware upgrade for the human operating system. It posits that the 9 to 5 isn't a career, it's a socially reinforced illusion, a deferred life plan, where you trade your best years for a pot of gold that probably won't be there at 65.
Or, Marcus, it's a glossy manifesto for the privileged few who have enough cognitive capital to outsource their lives to people earning in rupees while they sip Malbec in Mendoza. It's a phenomenon, sure, but is it a blueprint for freedom or just a high-octane survival guide for the laptop class?
Laptop class, I love that. But look at the core premise, lifestyle design. Ferriss argues that being rich is actually about the freedom multiplier, controlling the what, when, where, and with whom of your life. It's about being the owner of the trains, not the person shoveling coal into the furnace just to keep the lights on.
The freedom multiplier assumes you have a train to own. Ferriss talks about relative income versus absolute income. He says a guy making $40,000 a year working 10 hours a week is richer than the investment banker making $500,000 working 80 hours. But Marcus, the banker's $500,000 buys a house in a zip code with good schools. The $40,000 nomad is one medical emergency away from total economic collapse. It ignores the reality of the modern precariat.
But that's precisely why the model is broken. We postpone living for a retirement that is worst-case scenario insurance. Why wait 40 years for a trip to Thailand when you can take a mini-retirement now? Ferriss shows families, single mothers, and CEOs redistributing their retirement throughout their lives. It's about the new rich, NR, who realize that time is the only non-renewable resource.
Oh, the new rich. It sounds so egalitarian until you get to the chapter on outsourcing life. Ferriss describes hiring virtual assistants in India to handle everything from research to, and I'm not joking, apologizing to his wife. Is that liberation, or is it just a new form of digital feudalism where we offload our burnout onto the developing world?
It's geographic arbitrage. Fun things happen when you earn dollars, live on pesos, and compensate in rupees. Is it exploitative to pay someone $4 to $10 an hour if that wage represents a high-status professional income in their local economy? Ferriss argues it's an investment in your own remote management skills. He's teaching people to be deal makers who shift resources from areas of low yield to high yield.
It's management by absence. MBA, as he calls it. But let's talk about the muses, those automated income streams. He suggests finding a niche, like lavish dwarf entertainment or yoga for rock climbers, and setting up a website to sell information products. He makes it sound like you can just set it and forget it. In the age of the creator economy, we know that's a lie. Passive income is the most labor-intensive project you'll ever undertake.
But that's the beauty of the system. You eliminate before you delegate. You use the 80-20 principle, Pareto's law, to find the 20% of activities that produce 80% of your results. Most people are just procrastinating, performing work for work's sake, because they're trapped in an 8-hour day that only actually requires 2 hours of real output.
Procrastinating. Ferriss is certainly a master of the catchy phrase, but look at his low-information diet. He tells people to stop reading the news and only check email once a week. In a world of AI-driven competition and rapid market shifts, selective ignorance isn't a strategy. It's a recipe for becoming obsolete.
Or it's the only way to maintain attention, which he argues is more valuable than time. If you're constantly reacting to manufactured emergencies in your inbox, you're a slave to the urgent. He's advocating for just-in-time information instead of just-in-case information. It's about reclaiming your brain from the 24-hour news cycle and the crackberry prayer.
But Marcus, He's teaching people to disappear from the office using Jedi mind tricks. He suggests calling in sick to prove you're more productive at home, and then leveraging that to negotiate a remote work agreement. That works if you're a software developer at a tech giant. It doesn't work for the barista, the nurse, or the gig worker driving an Uber. This is lifestyle design for the 1% of the workforce that already has leverage.
Ferriss would say that everyone can find leverage if they stop being realistic. He literally says, everything popular is wrong. He won a kickboxing championship by reading the rules and realizing he could just push people off the platform. He's telling us to stop playing the game and start gaming the game. That applies to career structures, too.
And that's where the ethical wheels fall off for me. He encourages people to ask for forgiveness, not permission. He tells employees to make themselves expendable through automation, while simultaneously making themselves too valuable to fire. It's a Machiavellian approach to the workplace. It treats colleagues and bosses as interruptions to be eliminated or batched.
Maybe. But isn't the traditional corporate structure Machiavellian anyway? It's a fragile collection of socially reinforced illusions. Ferriss is just giving the wage slave the tools to fight back. He's showing how to use Parkinson's law, the idea that a task will swell in importance to fill the time allotted for it, to collapse your work week into 4 hours of high-impact focus.
And then what? This is the part of the book that always gets me. The filling the void chapter. He admits that when you finally kill the 9-to-5, you go through postpartum depression. You realize that work was your primary social unit and your source of meaning. He tells these liberated people to go on a silence retreat or rehearse poverty to cope with the existential panic of having nothing to do.
Because we've been brainwashed to believe that busyness equals productivity and that leisure equals laziness. He's forcing us to face the existential vacuum. He says, the goal is not to simply eliminate the bad, but to pursue and experience the best in the world. He wants us to become continual learners and servants to a cause.
Right. After you've fired your high-maintenance customers and outsourced your marriage to Bangalore, you finally have time to save the whales. But only if it fits into your dream line and doesn't interrupt your tango lessons in Buenos Aires. It's a very self-centered form of altruism.
Is it self-centered to want to love, be loved, and never stop learning? He's arguing that excitement is a better goal than happiness, because happiness has become an ambiguous, bottle of wine purchasable term. He wants people to find what excites them and build a system that finances that excitement.
But the cost of that system is often hustle culture in a different mask. Look at the new rich mistakes he lists: micromanaging, chasing unqualified leads, making non-time-sensitive issues urgent. He admits that lifestyle design itself can become a productivity project where you're constantly optimizing but never actually living.
Exactly. That's why you need the rules. D is for definition, E is for elimination, A is for automation, and L is for liberation. It's a system to escape the system. Even in 2024, with AI and the creator economy, his tactics are more relevant than ever. AI is the ultimate virtual assistant. It makes the 4-hour workweek actually possible for the first time for a much broader group of people.
Or it makes the competition so fierce that we're all working 80 hours a week just to maintain our income autopilot. Ferriss says, the fishing is best where the fewest go. But now everyone is at the same pond with the same AI lures. The lifestyle design dream has become a crowded marketplace of influencers selling courses on how to be an influencer.
You're not wrong. But look at the comfort challenges he includes. like lying down in a crowded Starbucks for 10 seconds just to prove that social conventions aren't laws. He's trying to build uncommon habits. He's telling us that reality is negotiable. Whether you like his style or not, you have to admit that he forced us to ask the one question we all avoid. What would I do if I didn't have to think about money?
And for most people, the answer is, I don't know. That's the real adventure deficit disorder. We've been so conditioned by the 9-to-5 that we've lost the ability to imagine a life outside of it. My critique isn't that Ferriss is wrong about the 9-to-5 being a prison. It's that his escape relies on a level of economic sleight of hand that isn't sustainable for a society.
Maybe a society of lemmings isn't sustainable either. Ferriss is a deal maker. He's a ghost in the machine. He's showing that you can have your cupcake and eat it too. He's a scientist and adventure hunter who provided a roadmap for an entirely new world.
Or he's Wired magazine's greatest self-promoter, who turned his own nervous breakdown into a multi-million-dollar brand. The 4-hour part is the hook, but he works harder than almost anyone I know at promoting the idea of not working. It's the ultimate paradox.
He admits that. He says, I am very active and that he has lots of projects. The 4 hours refers to the income generation part, not the living part. He's separating work from vocation. If you want to spend 60 hours a week writing a book or helping orphans, do it. But don't do it because you need the paycheck to survive.
It's a compelling fantasy, Marcus. The idea that we can all be digital nomads and mini-retirees. But until we address the economic realities of labor exploitation and healthcare, most people are still going to be wage slaves, looking through the office window at the new rich lounging by their infinity pools.
Action may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action. That's the quote he uses to end the fear-setting chapter. Ferriss isn't promising a utopia. He's offering an antidote to tolerable and comfortable existence. He's telling us to be bold and don't worry about what people think.
And I'll end with this. The first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. Ferriss is a master at making the unrealistic seem easy. But for every Dale Beggs Smith driving a black Lamborghini, there are 10,000 people who lost their savings trying to find their muse.
The fishing is best where the fewest go. Sarah, the risks of inaction are far greater than the risks of experimentation. As Ferriss says, someday is a disease that will take your dreams to the grave with you.
Well, I'll give him this. He's definitely not boring.
And that, Sarah, is the cure-all. Until next time on The System Read. Ha 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 ha.
Tranquilo, Marcus. Take it easy.
Thank you for listening to this discussion on the System Read podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button and subscribe to ensure you don't miss our upcoming deep dives.